All right, now we're going to do lesson 6.8, more multiplying of polynomials. So this one, there are two ways that you can solve these problems. You can solve it using the distributive property, or you can solve it up by stacking them like you would multi-digit multiplication problems, like a 3-digit times a 2-digit. So for the examples, I'm going to show you how to do this using the distributive property. Then I'm going to show you how to do it using the stack them up method. Okay. All right. So let's look at this first one. And with this first one, I'm going to take and I'm going to multiply my first term x by each term inside of the parentheses. Okay. So I'm going to multiply x times x squared. And I get x cubed. Then I'm going to multiply x times a negative 3x. And I get negative 3x squared. Then I'm going to multiply x times a positive 7. And I get plus 7x. Just ignore it. Did you come back because it was full? Okay, and you can go back and just take the notes for this. All right, next. Okay, so now that I have multiplied the first term by every term here in the parentheses, I'm now going to multiply the second term. So the second term, 2 times x squared, is 2x squared. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that below the negative 3x squared. So plus 2x squared. Okay. Then I have 2 times a negative 3x, and I get negative 6x. So that will go right here. And then I have 2 times a positive 7, which gives me a positive 14. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add them up. Right, so x cubed plus nothing is x cubed. Negative 3x squared plus 2x squared. I am able to combine those because they both have the same exact variable raised to the same exact exponent. That's the only reason. I can't combine 3x squared with 6x because this x isn't squared, but I can combine these two. So negative 3x squared plus 2x squared is a minus 1x squared, or negative x squared. 7x minus 6x is positive x. And then nothing plus 14 is just 14. And that is your final answer right there. Okay.
Oh, you're the same thing on those.
Well, what I would like for you to do right now, before we go to this side right here, is I want you to try example 2, the first one, just like what we did up here. Okay, using the distributive property. Then we're going to come back over here and we're going to use the stack them up method. Okay, so go right here to example 2, and I want you to use the distributive property on this one. Okay, and I'll give you a couple minutes to work on that one. Okay, so on this problem, example 2, I use the distributive property. And these are the polynomials I got after distributing. And then I combined all of my like terms. And what you'll notice here is a 0x, but we don't need the 0x. So we can rewrite it as x cubed plus 5x squared minus 18. Okay, and that can be your final answer. Yeah. All right, questions? Okay, so to be honest with you, I typically do this method right here, but I am going to show you this one just in case you prefer this one, because I want you to be able to do it in the way that makes most sense to you. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with the largest polynomial, the one with the most terms, and you're going to write it out. Okay. So we have x squared minus 3x plus 7. And then right below that, we're going to line up the binomial. Okay, so it's x plus 2. And we line it up, you're going to justify it to the right like this. And then you start multiplying. So just as you would multiply a triple digit times a double digit, you're going to multiply this. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to multiply 2 by every term. Okay, so 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times a negative 3x is a negative 6x. That's a positive 14. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. Okay. The key to this method, though, is putting the sign in front of it. So if you end up with a positive number, you have to make sure you put the addition sign in front of it. Notice I forgot to do that here. So when I got to 6x, it looked like 6x 14, but it is really 6x plus 14. Okay. Now I am going to multiply the x, but when you go to the tens place in your digit, what do you have to add to your problem? You guys remember? I'm moving over here to the tens digit. So when yes, a 0. So this is going to be a 0 here, just like you would in multiplication. And now I'm going to multiply my x. X times 7 is a positive 7x. X times the negative 3x is a negative 3x squared. And x times an x squared is an x cubed. And now we're just going to add them all up. You get 14 x positive, x squared negative, and an x cubed. And so notice that these are the exact same answers, just a different method. Okay. Now, some of you may not even like this method, but I want you to at least try it once. And then when we flip it over to the back, you can choose whichever method you want. So I want everybody to try this one right here using the stack, just this one, the stack method. It is a little bit confusing. So I'm going to give you a minute. Go ahead and check your work for this problem. Oh, actually, questions? Yes.
So we got negative 6x, right? And then, oh wait, never mind.
Okay. Yes.
On the other side, it was 5x squared.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, this one is 5x squared. Thank you. Of course. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the back. And number 3 is a duplicate from the other side, I think. So yeah, we're going to cross off number 3. And we're just going to go ahead and move down to example 4. Now, I believe you should be able to do example 4 on your own. So I want you to try it. When you get to example 5, you have a 3 terms times a 3 term. So you're going to have to distribute 3 times instead of 2 times. So just keep that in mind. But I want you to at least attempt this one on your own, and then you can check your work in just a minute. Check your answer for example 4. Are there any questions on this? No? You guys are.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
So let's see. So you bring the 3, you times it by 2, which is 6. You times by 3. Again, that's 9. That's times by -1. That's -3.
Yes.
So
What is your question?
Attention secondary teachers, please dismiss the cheerleaders. Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Actually, okay, I understand now.
All right, moving on to example 5.
Oh, I forgot my form poems and.
This is when you have conferences. Just
On example 5, we have 3 terms by a 3 term. So my lines are gonna get, there's gonna be a lot of lines here. So I have x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. And then x squared times a positive 5x is plus 5x cubed. And then I have x squared times a negative 6, so I have a negative 6x squared. Okay. Now I'm going to do the middle term. So x times x squared is x cubed. So what I'm going to do with that is put it under the like term, okay? So it's the same as 1x cubed. X times 5x is a positive 5x squared. And then x times a negative 6 is minus 6x. All right, now our third term. So this time I'm just going to circle my terms. So I have a negative 3 here, and I'm going to multiply it by x squared. So negative 3 times x squared is negative 3x squared. I'm going to put that below my like terms.
Wait, wouldn't it be negative 6x squared? Oh, wait, no, never mind. I'm looking at the first.
Actually, you know what we're going to do before we do that? I'm going to go ahead and combine these. Because if you don't, you might get a little bit confused on, do you guys want to put them all together or do you want to? Okay, all right, I'll keep doing it. So I have a negative 3x squared. And then negative 3 times a positive 5x gives me a negative 15x. And then a negative 3 times a negative 6 gives me a positive 18. Okay, now I'm going to add them all together. So we bring down the x to the power of 4. We have 5x cubed plus x cubed gives us a 6x cubed. So negative 6x squared plus 5x squared is negative 1, right? Negative 1 minus 3 is a negative 4. So this should be negative 4x squared. So if you got that one wrong, be very careful when you're combining all your like terms, okay? Negative 6 minus 15 is a negative 21x and then plus 18. And so this would be your final answer here. Okay. So are there any questions about that one? I tried to look in your homework to see what kind of problems you were going to have and then duplicate those on the notes so that you would have examples to look at. Okay, the last problem. Notice this is x minus 1 cubed. Remember in our notes before when it was like x minus 1 squared, I said don't apply the exponent to both of these and just be done with it. Okay, so meaning that this right here does not equal x cubed minus 1 cubed. It does not equal that. So please don't do that. What that means is that you are going to multiply x minus 1 times x minus 1 times x minus 1. That is what you're going to do. Okay. So the way that you're going to do that is you're going to go ahead and do x minus 1 times x minus 1. Then whatever you get, you're then going to multiply it by the third x minus 1. All right. So let's do that. We have x minus 1 times x minus 1. And we're going to distribute. So we end up with x squared minus 1x minus 1x plus 1. Okay. Then these two will combine to give you x squared minus 2x plus 1. So that's the first step. You're foiling those two binomials. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this one up and I'm going to take this third one right here, x minus 1, and I'm going to multiply it by my answer down here. So here we go. We're gonna take x times x squared and we get x cubed. X times negative 2x and we get negative 2x squared. And then x times 1 and we get plus x or 1x. It's just multiple steps. Then I'm going to take negative 1 times x squared and I get negative 1x squared. Negative 1 times negative 2x, I get a positive 2x. And then negative 1 times a positive 1 and I get a negative 1. Now I'm going to add these all together. And I end up with x cubed minus 3x squared plus 3x minus 1. Now, would you guys like a practice problem? No, you're good? You guys get it? Okay, so that's it. Make sure you check Canvas for your homework.